What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at this new wave of the Star Wars Hasbro Black Series figures. So first up, from the Phantom Menace, we have Sebulba. So it looks cool. Of course, there's a lot of plastic on him, so it's hard to really see. But nice to get Sebulba. He looks pretty cool. Nice to have him in the Black Series design now, bigger figure. So looks really cool. That comes with, of course, his racing helmet and one of the frogs that he fights over with Jar Jar there. Then we get two Jedi, both from Attack of the Clones. So first, my favorite Jedi of Shaak. So very nice to get her. Love having Shaak in any figure form that we get. So really nice to have her. Looks really good. They did a really good job designing her, as well as Luminara, which is also one of my favorite Jedi, just not as high as Shaak, but looks very good as well. Love her design. They did a really good job with using the plastic like headdress, but then the fabric clothing and stuff. So it looks really good for her as well. So I'm very excited to check out all three of these figures, and as usual, it's nice to get 3 alien species. So I'm excited to check these out. So let me get them open out of the box, and we'll take a look at them together. So let's start off with Sebulba, which is the male Doug from Malastare. He was a professional pod race pilot, and he's crafty, mean-spirited, and a bully, using nefarious ways to win races such as sabotaging other pods, throwing objects, and using a flamethrower. And he lost the Boonty Classic to Anakin Skywalker, where his racer was destroyed in the process, but he survived. So really cool to get Sebulba. This was probably a figure I'd almost never think we'd get in Black Series, just because, with his weird design where he stands on his hands, has the extra feet or legs, whatever you want to call them, out front there. So just a really weird design, but looks really good overall. So there we get the head design of Sebulba. Looks nice with his little eyes, longer snout there, so nice nose with some like the dangly bits hanging down, some of the extra parts with like beads and stuff on it. His little ears here to the back, and I love different color variation where it's going like from a purple, has a little bit of red design on there, and like a little point on his head, purple going down the back with some spots as well, into his outfit design, more purple coming down on his legs into the hands and everything there. So that looks good. Like I said, we get his outfit almost like a little bit of like an armor design. So we get some padding here around his neck, a little bit of shoulder pads there. And in the midsection, love the addition of some silver in there, and some silver like chainmail was hanging down in like the crotch area and in the back and stuff. So that's nice. Then we go over to his arms again. You can see some purple there up on the shoulders. And then he's got these long things on his arms, like sleeves, whatever. And again, with more designs similar to his chest there, like straps all around or whatever, down to his hands where he's got the 4 fingers or toes, whatever this is going to be, and has some purple on it and stuff there. So just a really nice design. And of course, those legs come out to the front, a little bit of designs here on the front of the hands and at like the elbows or whatever. So that looks really good overall. So really nice. And he stands here pretty easily. Now, if you start messing with him, like probably after doing the joints here, he'll probably be loosened up and a little bit harder to stand, but he stands relatively easy, better than I thought he would. But for his movements, we'll go and start with his head. So his head can look up that far and down that far. So not a whole lot of range, it seems like. And it'll twist side to side. But then we go down to his neck as well, which has some movements. So a little bit back and forth and twist side to side there as well. So you get some additional range, but of course not a whole lot, which is pretty typical for the Star Wars. Then we get the shoulders that will come up. So you get the patties there that's sort of loose. So arms will come up there to 90 and rotate all the way around. Then we get like the single elbow that'll bend there to 90 with rotation in it. And then down to the wrist or whatever will twist all the way around. And I don't think it really flexes. It looks like it's on like the ball joints there, so we'll have some movement side to side and stuff, which is pretty nice, so we don't have to worry about a loose joint. But again, with that being the way it is, it'll kind of get loosened and make it harder for him to stand. Then we do get like an ab crunch design or something at his waist, so he does crunch a little bit back and forth. Again, hard to really see in there, but he'll crunch and twist around there as well. So you get some of that movements, which I didn't really think that would be necessary on a figure like this, but it's nice it is included. And then we can go down to the hips as well. So then we get the hips that'll move back and forth. So of course can go pretty much all the way around there with that, and then in and out a little as well. Then we go to the single knee joint that'll bend back that far and can go that far forward. So some movement back and forth there, and of course twist in it. Then we go to what'd be the lower joint. I don't know again with all these joints what they'd be labeled on parts like this, but can move back and forth, twist side to side, and then to the wrist here that'll rock back and forth and twist side to side as well. So you get all those joints working together. You can get them sort of positioned however you want there, which is pretty nice. So overall works out pretty good, looks good and everything. And like I said, unfortunately, once we start getting the movements and stuff, trying to get him back in the standing does start to become more difficult. But as you see, there are no real issues. Now for accessories, he does come with his pod racing helmet, so that's nice. It'd be cool if we had a pod racer put him in, but that'd be pretty big and expensive. But we get the goggles there, so the see-through lenses, of course, spots to go around his ears and just protect his head and everything, sort of matches with his outfit. So we can slide this on him. So there he's got the helmet on there. So that looks pretty good. Actually sits on there pretty nice. It looks about how it does in the movie. So no real issues with that or anything. So there he's got his helmet on now, ready for pod racing. And then he also comes with a Gorg, I think it's called, which is pretty much this little frog thing that Jar Jar sort of throws at him in the market and causes a confrontation between the two. So we get this little frog design that with his grip hand here, we can sort of put this in for him to hold it. So there he can be holding the frog in his hand there, just like that. So again, like when he confronts Jar Jar there. So that is really cool and awesome to have. Now, of course, we do have some characters we can bring in with Sebulba. So, of course, he does face off against Anakin Skywalker. So we can see what he looks like compared to Anakin. So, of course, Anakin's real short and everything. So they're about the same height there. So that works out pretty nice. And then, of course, as I mentioned, he confronts with Jar Jar. So there we got Jar Jar. You can see how tall Jar Jar is compared to him. And, of course, could try to recreate the scene, have Jar Jar on the ground and Sebulba sort of choking him and getting ready to punch him, whatever. So that is pretty cool, being able to recreate the scenes from Phantom Menace there with both those characters. And overall, this Sebulba is really cool. I really like the design. I think he looks really good. They did a really good job with the design, getting him to stand on just the two arms, legs, whatever you want to call them. And overall, just a really cool figure design. And next up, we've got Shaak, which is a Force-sensitive female Togruta that serves as a member of the Jedi High Council. She is highly regarded for her wisdom, an excellent teacher, and highly skilled as a combatant and swordsman. She was a Jedi General for the Grand Army of the Republic during the Clone Wars, participating in many battles, but was stationed on Kamino to oversee the production and training of the clones, but ended up being killed by Darth Vader during the Jedi Purge on the Temple. So she looks really cool. As I mentioned in the beginning, she's my favorite Jedi. I don't know why, just was something like drew me to her back in the days, probably like 2005 with the release of the Lego Star Wars games. I just loved playing as her and that. So it's mostly the Lego version of her that I love, but still having her in figure form. And then with the release of the figures back in 2005 for Revenge of the Sith, she was one of the first Jedis I bought. And like, again, with that old figure, obsessed with that as well. So having her in a black series is really cool. I absolutely love it. Love, of course, the Togruta species. So her, Ahsoka, that sort of stuff. So just love the design with their head tails, especially. Love, especially her compared to Ahsoka, because Ahsoka's head tails are always a lot smaller, where she has the lot taller ones and pointier and the longer tails in the front, the one in the back as well there. So just absolutely love that design. Love her red skin color with the white around her eyes, makes it look like she has these big eyes. Of course, her like headdress piece there in gold, similar, Ahsoka has sort of different headdress designs there. And then we get her outfit, which that's where it starts to get more boring, is her outfit, because it's just a lot of brown, unfortunately. So she has like a brown, I almost call it like a tank top sort of design there going into the skirting. Then she has this additional piece of robe here on the top, almost like a scarf around her, but it's, plastic in this form, with her darker brown Jedi robe over top. It's got a little bit of red into it, but, not as much red as like her actual skirting here. Then she has a nice like skirting piece here in the front in plastic with a nice design. So that looks really cool. Love that design going on there. And then she has her dress, like the brownish red color dress, which again, with the Star Wars Black Series, always a lot of material here. So especially a lot of it, and I assume it's designed this way, but a lot of material, especially here towards the back. So I assume it's supposed to, drag across the ground as she walks, but just the way just having your figure stand there doesn't really work out the best there overall. And then we can just kind of see under her dress there, she does have just like normal covered up legs with brown pants, and then some nice boots, almost like military style female boots there, which is pretty cool. So like that design as well. But as long as I can get her to stand and stuff, that's all I really care about. Hopefully all that dress material and stuff doesn't get in the way too much. But we'll do her movements. So with her head, it's going to be hard to move because of the head tails, but they are flexible. So you do get some movements. So her head can twist around there. She can look down that far and then up just about that far. So some movements in there. And like I said, the head tails are pretty flexible. So they're, pretty rubbery and stuff and get out of the way. So you can get both of the moves in the front and the back there, which is nice. But then we go to the shoulders. That'll come up to 90 and they have a butterfly joint. Actually, let's go and take the robe off just so that's one less thing to get in the way. So up to 90 again, has the butterfly joint, but only moves a little back and forth, unfortunately. And of course, we'll rotate all the way around. We get the single elbow joint to 90 with rotation, get the wrist that'll twist all the way around and has the hinge up and down hand here. Then we go to the ab crunch, so just at the waist here is where she'll crunch back and forth and we'll twist all the way around there as well. Then we can go to the hips. Of course, you got to get all the dress out of the way to be able to access it though. So there we can see the hips, so they'll come up to 90, out to the side, thigh twist all the way around, the double knee joint that'll bend up that far to the back, almost kicking herself in the butt, not all the way, but close. Shin twist at the top of the boot, and the foot will flex back and forth and twist side to side. So pretty good range movement, pretty typical for the Star Wars. She has the double knees, which we don't really see too much anymore, but using that older pinned body there, which isn't bad at all. So as long as, like I said, she can stand in everything. And of course we can put the robe back on her. Thankfully with her robe, the hood's like sort of back and attached, so we don't have to worry about that sitting in weird positions or anything. But let's put the robe back on her. So there she has the Jedi robes back on her now, so back to normal there. Of course, it sort of gets puffed up and everything, so still have issues, but like I said, thankfully with that hood, it's sewn back there, so we don't have to worry about that sticking up or anything. But if it did, her head tail here would help hold it back as well. And just so if you didn't know, this piece is attached to around the back of her neck, so you can't take it off. I thought maybe it would come off as well because I don't like it too much, but it is attached to the back of her neck, so obviously you could like cut it off or something, but it is attached back there, so you can't just easily remove it. But since she is a Jedi, she of course comes with her lightsaber, so we get her blue lightsaber, which looks really nice. So there's her hilt design and the blue blade. So let's put this into her hand. So there's Shaak with her lightsaber. Of course, I don't really know how to get her posed up because I think I tried posing her up going off pictures I saw online, and she can't really pose too well. So you just got to kind of do simple poses there with her, but looks really good overall. So like I said, I'm excited just to have my favorite Jedi represented in the Black Series now. And finally, we have Luminara Unduli, which is a Force-sensitive female Miralon, served as a Jedi General for the Grand Army of the Republic, commanding the 41st Elite Corps that was led by Clone Commander Gree. She participated in the Battle of Kashyyyk, where she was arrested and eventually executed during Order 66, and we see, especially throughout the Clone Wars, that she is the master of Padawan Barriss Offee. So she looks really cool here. Again, another Jedi that I like a lot. Her and Shaak are always like two of my favorites, especially out of the female Jedi. And to me, they're always together because, like, when I got that Shaak figure back from when Revenge of the Sith came out, I got Shaak and Luminara together. So they're always together in my book for some reason. But she looks really good here. Love this design as well. They did an excellent job with the Black Series design. So we have her green skin, although it's like a really like lightish green, almost like yellow design. I wish it was just a little more green, but looks good. We've had Miralons before, so we've seen the design. I love how she has like little diamond designs there on her chin and stuff. So add some of that, and then kind of just with her headdress design makes her look more bold and stuff. With that headdress design, which it looks of course like pharaohish and everything, looks good. And again, love that this is plastic on her head, so we don't have to worry about fabric and looking weird and all that, but looks good there in like that brown color just sitting on her head and hanging down around her. Then we get her outfit design. So she does have this darker, it looks almost like a bluish color, could be really dark purple sort of robe on. Love that, and love how it, it's kind of sleeveless here, although the sleeves are supposed to be continuing down from it because it's in that same color there. So get a little baggier sleeve going into her actual outfit design. Love all the designs on her, especially there around her wrist gauntlets, and again on her little piece in the front, similar to what Shaak had with all the gold designs and everything. That just looks so good. Gold around her neck as well. So I don't know if they were trying to take like Egyptian inspiration or what from this, but good with the gold necklace there around her neck. And then looks like either black or really dark brown sort of outfit here in the center. It's hard to really tell exactly what color it is. Again, the belt around their waist holding that piece there in the front of her. Then she's got an all black dress, so it has the nice black design. A lot less material than Shaak had, but still probably a little too much. May have some issues getting her to stand. And then her pants should be the same. Again, a dark color. Could be more of a maroonish sort of brown. It's hard to really tell exactly. Could be purple as well. I don't know. It's hard to really tell exactly what color's going on there. Into black boots, again, that go up real high, but not as militaristic as Shaak had. Just very simple boots there on her feet. But just overall, once again, a really nice design. Like I said, for me, the only thing I would like probably is just a little bit more green tone to her skin color. But we'll do her movements, so her head will twist around. Now, of course, with her headdress, it may be a little difficult, but it is, flexible plastic and stuff, so you can still get it twisted around there. She can look down that far and then up that far, so again, not a whole lot of range, which, like I said, is pretty typical anyways. Then we get the shoulders. That'll come up to 90 and have the butterfly joint back and forth, and we'll rotate around. We get the single elbow joint there. That'll bend to 90 and rotate. We get the wrist. That'll twist all the way around. It has the hinge up and down once again. Then we get the ab crunch at the waist, so crunch back and forth and twist around. Then similar to pretty much the exact same body as Shaak, just all over. The hips will come up to 90 and out to the side. Get the thigh twist all the way around the double knee joint. That'll bend up that far, again, not far from her butt. Shin twist at the top of the boot, and then down to the foot will rock back and forth and twist side to side. So yeah, pretty much all the exact same movements that Shaak had, just a little different in the design overall, but looks good. Just like I said, just really like the design and think they did a pretty good execution of it. And for her, we can give her lightsaber, which she has a green blade lightsaber, which looks cool, and love the hilt design, especially the colors going on here at the bottom, like gold design, whatever, just looks really good. So let's put this in her hand. So there's Luminara posed up with her lightsaber as well, and looks really good. So love adding Luminara to the collection as well. And there's our newest wave of the Star Wars Black Series figures, where we got Sebulba from Phantom Menace, and then Jedi, Shaak, and Luminara from Attack of the Clones. So all three of these figures are really cool. Love, like I said, getting alien species. So we had 3 different species represented here, and I love the designs for each one of them. So really cool figures all around for this wave. Let me know what you thought of them, though, down in the comments. And if you enjoyed my review, let me know with that like, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to see more. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.